In this SNAP projects, we learn about the three main institutions involved in legislation. Each institution has its own sprite with its logo as a costume. But for now, we are not interested in the scripts inside these sprites. Instead, we want to position the three objects on the stage using a script created directly in the stage sprite. A sample script that does this is already provided. Pause the video, check it out, and try to understand what this script is doing. Ignore the script under the green flag. It's obvious that some commands are repetitive, just with different inputs. There must be a way of using a loop to make the code shorter and easier to update, especially as more objects are added. In this example, you'll see how lists can help. This project already gives you lists of the used objects and their x coordinates. First, we create a loop variable called a. This variable is only needed in this particular script, so we don't use make a variable, but create a script variable instead. This keeps the project more organized because the variable doesn't appear in the variable list. It also allows the same variable name to be used independently in different scripts, even within the same sprite. The variable has to be 1 at the beginning. Now we need a loop that runs the actions for all three objects, or more if there are more objects in the list. So we want to repeat the loop as many times as there are objects in the list. In the first round, the loop moves the first object from the list to the first position. Then, in the next round, it moves the second object, then the third, and so on. To make this work, the counter variable a must be incremented by 1 at the end of each loop. This structure is very common in programming, so there is usually a shorter way to write it, called for loop. Snap also provides a block specifically for this task. At the top of the block, you define the loop variable, which only works within this loop, and specify the start and end values. The variable automatically increases by 1 with each iteration. We now have a short and clear script that can handle any number of objects. In the next step, information should appear below the logo when clicked on it. Necessary lists with details such as the names of the institutions, their presidents, and the number of members are already prepared. The writing of the information should be triggered by the When I am clicked block. We could implement this separately in each object script, but instead we want to handle it centrally using the lists and a single object called writer. For this, the writer object needs to know when an object is clicked. The broadcast block is perfect for this. The writer also needs to know which object has been clicked, so we include the object's number, meaning its position in the list, in the broadcast block. The number received from the broadcast is stored in the variable data and can now be used in this script. To improve the visual appearance, a customized write block is provided, which offers additional features. For example, /p inserts a line break and the letters are written sequentially at a defined speed. The use of the customized write block will be explained in more detail in a future video. Finally, the sprites of the institutions should play an audio file when they are clicked. The European Parliament is based in Strasbourg. but also has offices in Brussels and Luxembourg. It is formed by 720 members elected by citizens from all EU countries and is led by a president, currently Roberta Metsola from Malta. The main role of the European Parliament is to debate and pass EU laws. It also oversees other EU institutions and approves the budget of the European Union. The European Commission is made up of 27 commissioners, one from each EU country. They are appointed to represent the interests of the EU as a whole. The Commission is headed by a president, currently Ursula von der Leyen. The European Commission's main role is to propose new laws, enforce EU laws, and manage EU policies and budgets. It also represents the European Union in international affairs. The European Council is composed of the leaders of all 27 EU countries, plus its own president, currently Charles Michel of Belgium, and the president of the European Commission. The main role of the European Council is to set the overall direction and priorities of the EU. It does not make laws, but it must agree them. The Council also meets several times a year to address major challenges facing the European Union and to take important decisions.